name is Erica Rains. I am the principal of Somerset College Preparatory Academy and Somerset Academy St. Lucie. This is my assistant principal on this campus, Mr. Tim Treador. And if you will look in that general direction, all of those people standing and some of the people sitting are going to wave really big. Those are your teachers. All right. So I'm going to start tonight by number one, thanking you for your patience. I know that typically new student orientation occurs before school starts. So I want to thank you very much for your patience and your understanding. You know that your student safety is our number one priority, and it just wasn't ready. The building wasn't ready. We weren't ready to have people in here. We weren't ready to have your students in here. And again, their safety being the most important thing, delaying the opening, putting out those video tours, that was the best we could come up with at the time. So again, I want to thank you guys for your patience while we finished things up. As you walk around tonight, you're going to notice things that still aren't ready. For example, I'm standing here and I'm not standing on a stage. The stage is still about 8 weeks out from delivery, but it will go in this space up here. Other things that you will notice, you may notice the spots that still need paint touch-up. You'll notice that as you go through the building, especially upstairs in this building. You may notice just little things, the cosmetic stuff. We have the certificate of occupancy, so we are absolutely permitted to be fully functional in every part of the building at this point. So everything that you do see now is cosmetic. We are still waiting on some back-ordered furniture, so there's more tables that go in this room. All the plastic tables that you see outside are going to disappear. Those are temporary until the big red metal tables are delivered. I'm being told sometime in September. We're in September, so sometimes it's not. So some of those types of things, you'll see those changes as we go. So, new student orientation. A lot of what we typically go over in new student orientation, you already know from watching videos, from reading your handbook, from being on the website, from your students already starting school here. So I'm going to go through some of this very quickly, and then I'm going to slow down a little bit on the more important parts. I'm going to give you the opportunity to ask questions at the end. And then when we're completely done, I'm going to dismiss my teachers to their classrooms, and you will be able to walk your students' schedules. I believe we're spending about 10 minutes per classroom. Yes, about 10 minutes per classroom. So you'll be able to walk your students' schedules and meet their teachers. There are 2 teachers who are unable to be here this evening. One is at a conference to put together a program for the school, so he is at a university somewhere else at a conference. I believe there are only 3 students who needed to see him anyway, and the other one is also at another school event, and he only had 1 student here tonight anyway also. So hopefully that won't be too much of an impact. What are we doing?
Trying to raise the volume so they can hear you.
Can you guys not hear me? You need it louder? You need it closer. Is that better? Is that what you need? Now can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? All right. Completely lost my train of thought with all that. Yes, thank you. So the 2 teachers who are not here this evening, you should be getting a personal email from those 2 teachers. So if Mr. Kierlew or Mr. Simsky is your teacher this semester, again, you should get a personal email from them if you haven't already gotten it, apologizing for their absence and making themselves available to you if you have any questions specifically for them. Okay, so Somerset College Prep. Okay, first I'm going to play with it, y'all are going to be patient with me. Okay, you know that. You got that. You know that, but I'm just going to get on it real quick. You know that we have a really good relationship with college. You know that we promote the dual enrollment. In addition to the relationship with the college, we have a lot of business relationships. Previous upperclassmen can tell you they've done a lot of internships in the area. If you are a business owner, we welcome shoot us an email. The kids see this every single morning in morning announcements. They should have it memorized by now. Actually, can I go back? Okay, at Dental Paramus, you should have seen this. It's on the website, it's on your student handbook, it's on your crest, on your shirts. At Dental Paramus is Latin for preparing for life. That's our motto. How many of you didn't know that? Really, you all knew that. Okay, so show me hands, how many of you have never attended a charter school before? You have not attended a charter, listed your first charter. Okay, so I'm going to spend a minute on that then. So charter schools are public schools. Charter schools are public schools. You will hear on social media and out in the community that charter schools are not public. We are public schools. We are publicly funded. We are publicly run. We are public schools. We are tuition free. We are not for profit. You guys all get those text blasts or email blasts, right? The ones that are constantly saying, hey, we need donations of this and that and that and this. That's because we are not for profit. In addition to being not for profit, we are funded at a lower rate than what traditional public schools are funded at. So we function at about 75 to 80% of what traditional public schools function at. So there's a lot of gaps that we have to fill. So in addition to having less funding, less public funding, we also are held to a higher level of accountability. That means if we financially mismanage the school, or if we are a C, D, or F school, D or F school for 2 years, that we can be shut down. So if we are not academically performing, we can be shut down. If we are not financially performing, we can be shut down. So higher level of accountability, less money to do what we need to do with, and we do it, I think we do it pretty well. So then the question is, well, are you part of the district? We are sponsored by the district. And the only thing that means is that they allow us to exist. That's it. They just allow us to exist. And they don't do that willingly. So we are part of St. Lucie County School District. The overall school grade, district grade, is we are factored into that as part of their grade. We are, our money from the public funds that go from the state to the district funnels that through to us after they take 5% of it. They're responsible for making sure that we are in federal and state compliance. We do not comply with district, with all district policies. We do not do district testing. We don't do the benchmark testing. We don't use their pacing guides. We don't use their scope and sequence. We have to adhere to standardized testing, FSA, FCAT, EOC. And we have to adhere to state rules, policies, and anything federal. So they exist to make sure that we're kept in check. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to be tickled with that on mine. Okay, so that funding piece I was talking about, so the district receives it from the state, and they give it to us. They take a 5% administrative fee. Actually, I need to update this PowerPoint's a little bit old. They used to take a 5% admin fee from this campus. We're now high performing, so now they're only allowed to, by law, take 2.5% from this campus. They still take 5% from the other campus, but this campus, they only take 2.5%. How many of you are homeowners? How many of you actually own your own home? You know that your homeowner's tax bill that you get where it says millage, that money, that tax that you pay does not go to charter schools. It doesn't matter if your child is here or not. That money that you pay funds capital projects for the district schools. Charter schools don't receive a penny of that. So the district takes some of it, we don't get all of it, and we're only eligible for certain kinds of grants at certain times. So basically we function at about 75 to 80% of what traditional schools function at. That's why we're constantly doing the, hey, we need donations up. Okay, so this is the bell schedule. Your students have this. It shows here period 1, period 2, period 3, and period 4. In January, that changes. That'll be period 5, 6, 7, and 8. So so that you guys know if you don't already, and your students already know this, they come in, they go to first period, they go to second period, they go to lunch, then they go to third and fourth. January, they'll go to 5th, 6th, lunch, 7th, 8th. Early dismissal is on whatever Wednesday the district says it's on. We do follow the district's calendar. I know that some of you may have come from Renaissance where they don't do early dismissal. We follow the district's calendar. If they have an early release day, we have an early release day. If they have a teacher work day or professional development day or a holiday, we follow the district's calendar on that. Early release schedule. Thanks, Sarah. Yeah, got ahead of myself. Take out your cell phones. No, really, it's not a trick. Nobody's getting detention. Take out your cell phones. Take a picture of this. So, and for those of you that it's too far away, I'm going to give you the information. You can type it in, or you can send your students up to take the pictures. And we're also putting this on video, so we'll be available on the school's YouTube channel. All right, so the question is, what is it we're taking a picture of? All right, so what you are currently taking pictures of is, Peggy, you're awesome. How many copies do you have, Peggy? All right. Okay, if you can stop running up and taking pictures, Miss Peggy is absolutely awesome, and she's bringing you a little sheet of it. So does Mr. Creedor, so there you go. Okay.
I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do this.
Can you hear me now? Excuse me, can you hear me? Well, you could if you weren't talking to the screens. Can you hear me? Hey, Reynolds, can you hear me? What? Rock concert level? Yeah. Hold on. Can you hear me? So what you are currently taking pictures of up on that screen is the way that we communicate. I will tell you that parents who have been with us for some time, and I've got at least one in the audience, will tell you that, I got two in the audience, okay, I got three. Okay, so the parents who've been with us for a little while will tell you that we over-communicate. Parents who are new to us will tell you that we don't communicate enough. I'm going to tell you that I communicate in about 15 different ways, and if you're not getting it, it's because you're choosing not to get it. So, for all the parents who do have Facebook, there is a school Facebook page. But I have parents who don't like Facebook, they don't do social media. That's okay. We have a school website. In the middle of the landing page of the website, there is a section called Announcements. Under Announcements, everything that I put on the Facebook page is on the Announcements section of the website. On the website, bottom left corner, there's a calendar. If you have an iPhone, your calendar will sync with the calendar on the school's website. I warn you before you do that, I warn you, make sure you really want to do that. Because you will get lunch tutoring, after school tutoring, detention, Saturday detention, there's a game here, there's a game there, there's this practice, there's that practice, progress reports are going home, report cards are going home, this project's due. You will get, and if you have children on both campuses, really think twice before you sync that calendar. But no, if you choose not to sync that calendar, know that you can go check that calendar out anytime. All right? So, Facebook, for those of you who like Facebook. The announcement section of the website, for those of you who prefer to do that. The calendar on the website. School's Twitter page. Yes, we have a Twitter account. If it's on the Facebook page, it's automatically on the Twitter. I don't even have to think about going out there and doing it. It just magically happens somehow. In addition to that, we now have and it's not up there, we need to update this. We now have a YouTube channel that started, like a month ago, and it was a complete well, the channel has always been there, but there was never any activity on it. And the night that I canceled this, I got a text from a parent who said, could you maybe do a video tour? And I went, okay, hey, good cheers, get up, follow me with your phone. So if you saw that, that's what that was. That's why I looked, that was like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night, and I was exhausted. But that night began all those other videos for you. So there's a school YouTube channel if you're into that. So you got Facebook, you got Twitter, you got the website, you got the calendar, you got the YouTube channel, and you can sign up for Text Blast. Those of you who have unlimited text, you can sign up for Text Blast. If you don't want to get 1,500 texts, or you don't want the 6 a.m. text telling you this bus is down, or that bus is down, or this one's running late, or you don't want the 10 o'clock at night text because I forgot to send it out at 9 o'clock, but you really need to know that tomorrow's a dress down. So if you don't want those texts, then sign up for it by email, because what goes out in those text blasts and on Remind is the exact same thing that goes out through the email blast. Okay, so you've got email, you've got text, you've got Remind, you've got Facebook, you got Twitter, you got the website, you got the calendar, you got the YouTube channel, and I'm missing something. Oh, your kids. You have your kids. There's missing something. Okay, so every single morning, your children sit through 20, 30 slides of morning announcements. A lot of them are repeats. Some of them are new. The teachers slow down. The teachers are supposed to slow down when they get to the new slides. They kind of go a little bit faster through the repeat slides. But those announcements are also posted on the website under the announcement section. It's a PowerPoint. Click on it. It has the date. Every single day it gets uploaded there. So if you want to know what they know, click there. There you go. All right. So communication is out there. You can pick and choose how you receive that communication. I will tell you that the Remind app and Text Blast, that is the best way. It is, I can be walking from my office to the car, to the bathroom, and somebody can say, hey, Ms. Raines, we need to let the parents know. Okay, I got it. And it's done. It is, Ms. Zerger's on it, I'm on it, a couple of the other employees are on it. So it is easy for us to communicate that way. And then IT takes those blasts and copy and paste it onto the Facebook page and the website. The text and Remind and the email that's tied to that. I'm limited in the number of characters that I can type out. So when you get one that sounds like I left out a bunch of words, or I don't know how to type, or it says MTG instead of meeting, it's not because I've forgotten my education, it's because I'm limited in the number of characters that I have. I have 140 characters that include spacing and periods. So I do what I can on that. On Facebook, if it's really important, or if there's more information, I'll go there because I can type up as much as I want, and then I'll copy and paste that link and blast it out. If you're one of those parents who doesn't have social media, you don't have Facebook, you don't have to have a Facebook account to still see those messages because it's a public page. So you can still click on those links that I send, and you can still see that information, even if you don't have a Facebook page of your own. All right, we put pictures up there constantly. I know one of my teachers, one of my new science teachers, she's taking pictures like all day, every day, and every couple of days she sends them to me, and I just post them up there. So if you're interested in seeing if your kid's in any of these pictures, just go check it out. It's constant. There's always something there. If you are bored one night and you want to go see a ball game, that's on there too. Mr. Weston makes sure all that's up there. And then the kids have heard us say that you guys can use the private message part of that to communicate with the school if there's some sort of an emergency. All right, again, that's monitored by multiple employees. So if you need to communicate with the school, you can use that feature for that as well. Oh, and the QR code puts the school's website's icon on the desktop of your phone. All right, so that's the remind, the text, the emails. Skyward, we also communicate through Skyward. We don't do that quite as much. If it's something super, super important and somebody reminds me that we have the ability, I'll send it over to Miss Messina and say, hey, blast this to the parents through Skyward. That's not something it's not top of mind for me, so it's not something I remember, so it's not something we do a lot. Your teachers, however, communicate through Skyward a lot more than I do. Volunteer hours. As parents, you are required to do 20 hours per year for the first student and 15 for the additional students, I believe. Your students, high school, 9 through 12 grade, are required to do 75 hours over the course of 4 years. The middle school students are not required to, and they don't count. What's your question?
My middle school volunteer hours transfer over to high school.
And they don't count. And they don't count. So middle school hours do not count towards graduation. That's not our rule, that's a Bright Futures thing. The reason we set that 75 hours, because, okay, so some schools do 20 hours. We set the 75-hour minimum because we want everybody to be eligible for those, it is Bright Futures, right? Yeah, for the Bright Futures Scholarship, and the minimum one for that is 75 hours, and they don't count it prior to, so June of the summer between 8th and 9th grade. All right, the summer between 8th and 9th grade, okay?
So summer hours count.
Say that again?
Summer hours count.
Summer hours after 8th, leading up to 9th,
And
count.
the letter on the company, or is a mission trip, so on the learn letter.
How do you submit the hours? Is that the question?
Yes.
Okay, how do you submit student hours? There are a couple of different ways. If the company that you're volunteering with, or the place, or the church, or whatever that you're volunteering, they can put it on letterhead, you can bring it in. Your students can pick up a volunteer log in our office, it's on ours, and they can have it signed off on either way, not pick it, don't care. Make a copy of it to keep for your records before placing it in the inbox for us to put in. Y'all, that inbox is on that front counter. There are volunteer things that go in there. There's doctor's notes that go in there. There's so much that goes in there. I am not going to promise you that something can't get lost. We absolutely are human. We do our best, but we are human. Something can get lost. If you keep copies of it, and your student is in 11th grade or 12th grade, and they go to check their hours, and they know they're missing a handful, and they've got copies, they can say, hey, look, and I even turned it in, and here's the date that I turned it in, and we're able to go back and adjust that. So make sure before you submit student hours that you have made copies of your logs. Parents, you can earn hours by attending PTSO meetings. You're earning hours right now by being here right now. So if you turned in your little ticket as you came in, or you got highlighted, you are good to go. If you passed by Mr. Treador and he didn't take your ticket, you are going to want to hand your ticket to somebody before you leave, because otherwise I have no way of knowing you're here and you don't get your hours. So that's how you incur. It's one of the ways that you incur hours. If you get text blasts telling you that it's Mo's night, or it's Pappy's Pizza night, or it's this or it's that night out in the community, go have dinner here or there, save your receipt, put your name on the back of the receipt, turn it into the main office the next day, and whatever for every $10 you spend is an hour. So you're going to incur hours for having dinner with your child at one of our fundraisers. Volunteering, you're going to get a text blast telling you that we need chaperones for a lock-in that's coming up, chaperones for dances, donations for the lock-ins, donations for the dances, things like that, all of those events. Those are all ways to earn hours. Again, donations, every $10 worth of a donation is an hour. And if you are high school, you can earn, high schoolers, listen to me, especially juniors and seniors who can drive. You can earn hours by helping at the elementary campus. So when you see that something's going on over there, for example, we've got trunk or treat coming up, you can earn hours by helping over there. It does not have to be your own campus. Okay, at this point, if you don't know dress code, we have bigger problems, so I'm skipping this one. Although you should know that Mr. Weston Wade, Mr. Weston is not only our athletic director, but he's our dean of discipline, and he does dress code sweeps. So your teachers should be giving dress code detentions, but Mr. Weston does dress code sweeps also, and gives detentions for those. So again, at this point, you should know what dress code is. You signed something saying you did. Actually, back it up for just a second. For parents who don't know or haven't noticed, it's more of a haven't noticed, I think, we differentiate middle school students from high school students by dress code. Middle school wears gray and gold, and high school wears maroon, black, and white. So is that right? No, we have the blacks, that's just that seniors thing. Yeah. So it's a color differentiation for us to be able to tell middle school from high school kids.
I don't know if I missed it, but are students required to have their shirts tucked in?
All right, Officer Letchell. Okay, walking. Tell him I'm skipping him if he's not in here for this, or I'm asking if he wants me to do it. Okay, so while I call him, we do have a full-time officer on this campus. It's Officer Raphael Leschbaugh. You probably passed him coming in. Looks like that's his vehicle out there. He has been with us since the day we opened 7 years ago. So he knows Somerset, he knows our rules, he knows our kids. A lot of the schools, they have officers in and out all the time, or like they change every year. Ours hasn't, and I'll throw a temper tantrum if somebody ever says I have to change. So he knows your kids know him. We did move him. He was originally in the main office, but now that we built this building, he's actually in that office right there with the black thing on the window. So he's closer to, he's got a window that looks out over the parking lot now, and he's closer to lunch without having to walk all the way over here. He is who most of the kids will deal with if there's like major issues like bullying or things like that. Student parking, he does, if you are a student driver, and yes, if you are a student driver, you are allowed to student park if you have met all of that criteria. Is he coming in, or am I just doing this?
He's on his way.
He's on his way? Okay, so student drivers, if you have a driver's license, you have to bring in a copy of your driver's license, copy of registration, copy of your insurance, and then you get a tag for your window, I think, and you have to have that on there. If you are parking and you have not registered your car, then you are subject to a ticket. You're subject to a ticket if you don't have your tags on your car. Parents don't need tags, and drop-off is, you don't want to talk about drop-off, and I'm going to go ahead because he doesn't hurry up.
I have a question about volunteers. Where does the school log them so that we know they're being tracked?
Skylar.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can apply for it. Well, I covered the parking and details. I left the drop-off and pickup for you because I knew you were going to address that. And I left security for you. You want a mic or is it?
I think it's good. Just as far as security, you guys know that when you drop your kids off, you cannot come through the gates unless you have an escort. 99% of the time, we have that blocked off with me or Mr. Trudeau or some form of security out here. So we're gonna question you. We're gonna challenge you. If you see any gates open, go ahead and shut up the doors because your kids do leave gates open. So if you see that, go ahead and close the gates for me, help me out. Security is all of our problems and concerns. My kid goes to the school as well, so I can't see everything, I can't be everywhere. We have extra security in mind, but not all times. As far as parent pickup and drop off, please, if I yell at you one day and I smile at you the next day, just know it's all in good taste. I'm trying to help everybody out, I'm trying to be as reasonable as I can. Sometimes I get irritable, just like you guys. Sometimes I make you irritable, sometimes you make me irritable. But in the long run, you have to listen to me. Okay? I represent this. You don't really have to listen to us law, but you have to listen to the law. So if you park in a handicap spot and you're not a handicapped person, or you don't have a placard, just know I've had a lot of parents, not a lot, but a couple already complained this year because I've run them out. I've run my teachers out. I've run my staff members out. It's not a loading zone. It's not a quick thing. If your kid has a broken leg and you want to park there, don't. Park along the curb. You can, let me know why you're here, what you're doing. Just don't use those handicap spots because my bosses are getting on me about not writing you all tickets. And that is a state violation. Ms. Raines doesn't even have the authority to say no, even though it's semi-private. Okay, and that's a $250 fine. So please, stay out of the parking zone or the handicap spots. What else is it? That's it. No smoking on campus. I'm sure Ms. Raines will let you know. I saw her in action last year take an elderly gentleman in the handicap spot and literally throw him off campus.
Not literally.
You
I asked him to leave.
You can't be complaining on her, and I said, this is her school, no smoking. So, no vaping, no smoking, and obviously no drugs, as you know. Same way with students, no vaping, no drugs, no weapons, you'll deal with the school dean, and obviously, if you break the law, you're going to have to deal with either myself or if I'm on campus. There will always be law enforcement from now on, thanks to the new law, from bell to bell. So from 8:15 to 3:30, I will probably be here 99% of the time unless I'm in training or I call out sick. I haven't used a sick day in 11 years, so hopefully I can keep that record going for 2 more years and call it good.
2 more? I don't think so.
Anyway, that's all I have.
All right, student driver. All right, so I already covered that. That was the application fee, driver's license registration. Okay, if you're going to check your child out early, it needs to be before 3 o'clock. We're not going to release a student to you between 3 and 3:30. Late check-in on this campus, you can drop your kids off there and check themselves in. Campus is open from about 7:45. That actually needs to be fixed. That should say 7:45 to 6 now. The high school students are, okay, so your students can be dropped off as early as actually 7:30. It says 7:45, but somebody's there by 7:30. So your kids can be dropped off as early as 7:30. And the classes start at 8:15. I think they stop serving breakfast at 8:10. 8? Really? You don't know?
Depends on how late the bus is.
Okay, so they stop serving breakfast sometime after the buses get here. And then the classes start at 8:15. If your student is not in their class, in their seat, because the door's closed at 8:15, they are considered tardy. And then classes get out at 3:30 on regular days, 1:30 on early release days. If you have not picked up your student, middle school, if you have not picked up your middle school student, by the time we clear car line, which is running about 5 to 4, 350-ish, they are swept up to aftercare. We're going to talk more about that in a minute. If they are high school, they are allowed to be outside. They're allowed to go to, well, if you give them permission, they're allowed to go to IRSC. They come in here and play ball or go to their clubs. Okay, Lunch is 11:30 to 12:15 to 12:15, and this is the cafeteria. There's 2 lines back here for lunch. The kids are able to go down both sides of the lines. They're buying lunch. They can bring their lunch. There's microwaves sitting around if they want to heat up their lunches. And as far as delivering, they're allowed to order Jimmy John's as long as they have their orders placed by 10:45. As long as they have their orders placed by 10:45, they are allowed to order Jimmy John's and have that delivered in the office. They do have to meet the delivery guy in the office. If they aren't in the office and the delivery guy comes, we may take the lunch or send it back. So they do need to actually make sure they're in the office when it's delivered. And as far as you guys dropping lunch off, if your student forgets lunch or forgets money and you want to bring lunch to your students, you can drop it off in the main office and they'll be called down right before dismissal, right before you dismiss for lunch to pick that up. Okay, I think that's it in lunch items. Bathroom policies, your kids know this, but parents, let me just make it clear, because I've actually had some parents call and say the children aren't allowed to use the bathroom all day. No, that's absolutely not true. So they are not allowed to go the first 10 minutes of class, the last 10 minutes of class, or the last 30 minutes of the day. And that's, first 10 minutes of class, they just have 5 minutes to go. Last 10, they're going to be able to go in 10 minutes. There's 5 minutes between each class. This building is not that big. They don't need that much time. And then they have that 45-minute lunch as well. So first 10, last 10. Do they go after the first 10, before the last 10? Remember, your classes are 90 minutes long. And then the last 30 minutes of the day, there can't be any movement. That's why we don't allow pickup after 3 o'clock. Your student's agenda is their pass. If they do not have their agenda, they don't leave class. The last page of their agenda is their pass. If your student comes home and says, I lost my agenda, I need another $5, you can yell at them for losing the agenda, but I really recommend that you give them the other $5, or your student won't be able to go to the bathroom, or they'll have to have somebody from admin come to their class and walk them to the bathroom. So that's kind of uncomfortable for them, so make sure that your students have their agendas. They are available for purchase in the main office, again, $5. Cell phones are not permitted to be used during class in the bathrooms. Now, they have their cell phones with them all day long on this campus. They use them between classes. Some classes, they take pictures of PowerPoints, they take notes on them. Some classes, if they're even caught checking the time, they get a detention. The kids know who they can get away with it and who they can't. Their teachers are very clear on the expectations. It's not a school-wide policy because that's unrealistic. But if they leave class during class to use the bathroom, and they're caught using their phone during class hours, they're going to get a detention and may get confiscated. So they should leave their cell phones in the classroom when they go to the bathroom. Okay, so all of the parents in here already signed that contract when you did your acceptance paperwork, that you read and understood the student handbook, the family handbook. Now I know that a lot of your parents didn't really read it, y'all just signed it because you wanted your kids here. So I'm going to tell you that it is located on the website and that you should read it. Because when you come and yell at me because I have suspended your kid or I'm dismissing your kid or there's some sort of an issue, you want to yell at me about it, I'm going to say page 14, paragraph 3 of the student handbook that you signed, that you understood and agreed with. So I'm going to refer back to that every single time. So if you haven't read it, I strongly suggest you read it. Your students have read it. They read it every single class period, all day long, the first day they started school here. I see the heads nodding. Yes, okay. So your students know what it says. And I will tell you probably the most important page, 2 pages to your students are the 2 pages that have the discipline matrix on it. It says, here's what you're not allowed to do, here's what you are allowed to do, and here's the consequence if you do anything you're not allowed to do. And it's very, very clear on there. So if you don't read the other section, that's the part you want to read. Keep in mind that you do have to maintain that 2.0 or higher GPA. If you do fall below, a 2.0, listen to me. If you fall below a 2.0 GPA, your student will be placed on academic probation. They will have one grading period to start moving back up again. If they do not move up, if they fall further down, they are subject to dismissal. If they move up a little bit, but they fell so far that there was no way to get back to a 2.0 in one semester, but they're moving the right direction and have no behavioral problems, then the guidance department, wait, Miss Hernandez, guidance department's gonna come to me and say, I don't think we should dismiss this student. Look, they went up a couple of 10 point or whatever, and they're really trying, and they're going to tutoring, and da-da-da, and I'm going to say, okay, so what do you think? Or they're gonna come to me and say, student didn't move at all, didn't go up, isn't attending tutoring, and has a bunch of detentions. And I'm gonna say, okay, so let's go ahead and do the dismissal paperwork. So that 2.0 was a C average. Why do we use a 2.0? Because the state says you need a 2.0 to graduate. If you don't have a 2.0, you're not even graduating. So if you're not gonna graduate, you probably are going to struggle in a college prep school. So discipline policies in that handbook, uniform policies in there, the 2.0 policy is in there, and then the integrity. So we have this huge section in the handbook and on the website on integrity. Your students heard about it day one, and they've probably heard about it quite a bit since. Academic integrity is huge. When you get to college, if you are caught cheating on a paper, on a homework assignment, on a test, anything, you can be kicked out of college. Our consequences for academic dishonesty is much more strict than any other school in the district. Other schools, you might get a 0, you might get attention, you might just have to redo the assignment. Here, it's an automatic 0. You don't get to make it up or do it again, and you have to, you get 3 Saturdays, and you have to attend a plagiarism boot camp during lunch for, I think it's 1 day, I'm not sure, check the handbook. But it will drop grades. We do not permit academic dishonesty at all. Again, your students have already been told all this. Behavioral expectations are in that handbook. This is that 75 hours over 4 years, which we already talked about, the 2.0 again. And your responsibility to be in class on time. Oh, 10 absences. 10 unexcused absences can get you dismissed. 10 unexcused absences can get you dismissed. Okay, academic expectations, GPA 2.0, testing. I'm going to talk about testing for a second. I have noticed on social media there is a lot of, there's a page out there and a lot of people who are saying that you can opt out of state standardized testing. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not true. It was true once upon a time. That was years ago. The law changed. You can no longer opt out. There's no such thing as opting out. If you tell your child to go in on a testing day and sit there and don't do anything, don't click, don't take the test, whatever. If you tell your child to not participate in a state standardized test, you are only hurting your child. Your child is going to, if your child is in 10th grade, your child is not going to graduate. If your child is not in 10th grade, your child's going to end up in intensive remedial classes the following year. There is no such thing as opting out. Your attendance is 100% mandatory on testing days. Please make sure you're paying attention to the blasts and the information that goes out regarding testing. Graduation requirements. If you have a senior, there is a senior night tomorrow night. Tomorrow night. Senior night tomorrow night. Great. And they'll talk about graduation requirements. Guidance also calls, they start with seniors and they work backwards, I think, from seniors to juniors, and then you do 8th grade, and then you fill in the blanks, right? Okay, so guidance department calls those students and meets with them one-on-one to talk about what they need for graduation requirements. If I'm not mistaken, those requirements are also in the handbook, and we will do some sort of graduation requirement study. Of course, exams, only certain courses have those. Certain courses, they're 30% of your overall grade. Certain courses, they are required for graduation. Again, your students need to be present for standardized testing. Oh, there's an academic integrity piece. Tutoring. Tutoring is available 4 days a week for free for your students, both during lunch and after school. The tutoring schedule is on the calendar on the website. Tutoring schedules on the morning announcement. Tutoring schedules on the walls and boards and every single one of your teachers' classrooms. Tutoring schedule is set out loud right after the Pledge of Allegiance every single morning. Tutoring schedules on the bulletin board in the main office. Tutoring schedule is, so you get the point. So when your child says, I didn't know there's tutoring. So mom and dad, there's tutoring. Monday. Monday is ELA and reading. Tuesday is math. Wednesday, social studies. Thursday, science, and nothing on Friday. So if you want to take a picture, you can go for that, or you can wait till we post it. It'll be posted. Or you can go to that calendar and go to the announcements, or you got it? Okay. And then we will begin Saturday preps. What are Saturday preps? Saturday preps are for those courses that are tied to an EOC or an FSA or 8th grade science ECAT. We do Saturday preps. They are on Saturday. They run anywhere from like 8 in the morning to 4 o'clock. Sometimes they're 2 hours, sometimes an hour and a half, sometimes 3 hours. And the schedule is the teachers email me and say, hey, I want these dates and these times, and we try really hard not to overlap, like if your kid's in Algebra 1 and in biology at the same time. We try to make sure they're before or after, not at the same time, but no promises. So a lot of times we have to tell your kids to choose the one that you think that you need the most help in. Can you hear me back there? Is that better? Can you hear me now? Can y'all hear me now? Marsh, can you hear me? No? Marsh, can you hear me? Now you can hear me. I feel like I'm yelling on the people that are sitting in front of their ears. You're going to bleed. Okay, so Saturday preps, you'll start getting text messages about those. Please make sure that if your student is in a course that requires an EOC or an FSA, that your student is in attendance for those preps. Guidance department. Half of the guidance department is here right now. There are 2 guidance counselors. One is Ms. Hernandez. Ms. Hernandez has been with us for 5 years now. And Ms. Daigle is guidance this year, but she's been with us for 3 years total. 3 years total between the 2 campuses. And here's Ms. Hernandez.
Hello, you guys hear me back there? Maybe, yes? Okay. We recently split the students, as in Tuesday. I'm going to take care of grades 6 through 12, A through J. Miss Daigle is getting 6 through 12, but she's doing the end of the alphabet, so K through Z. Okay, we do offer virtual courses. High school students need to take 1 virtual course, not necessarily a full credit. They need to complete a whole course online. We do our online through Somerset Virtual Academy. We also offer dual enrollment. Dual enrollment is when your student goes and takes some college classes while still in high school or middle school. And earns dual credit. So it counts for their high school graduation requirements, and then it also counts for their college AA. Requirements for dual enrollment. They need to have a high school unweighted GPA of 3.0. That doesn't mean a middle school student cannot do dual enrollment. I had dual enrollment students that were in 8th grade last year, 9th graders this year. They just have to have 4 high school credits, and their GPA is calculated just based on those 4 high school credits. So 3.0 unweighted high school GPA, 4 high school courses, and they need to take and pass the PERT exam at the college. The PERT exam costs $10. They can retake it every 7 days. I do not get the scores automatically, so they do need to be responsible enough to bring it over. One point I do like to make, especially when they're starting kind of young in dual enrollment, you guys have to understand as parents, they are going to be in a class with adults. They could have a class with a 30, 40-year-old. They're going to not have censored material, so if your teacher is lecturing on a topic, they're not going to water it down for your students. They're not going to watch what they're saying for your students. We haven't had any issues yet with that age gap. However, I do like to mention it because a lot of the parents go and say, oh, so-and-so said this word in class and my student's in 8th grade. Yes, but they're considered a college student when they enter that dual enrollment program. So I just try to make that kind of clear to you guys, so you know in advance, if you're emailing their professors and their dual enrollment, they're not going to answer you as parents. They will only talk to and communicate with the student. Okay?
Like she said, they can start in middle school, and just so that you know what the law is, the law says that they can start as early as 6th grade.
Can you imagine your 12-year-old 6th grade student sitting next to some 40 or 50-year-old guy in a college class without any of us over there?
No, I have a question because I have a high schooler who's in dual enrollment, and you're saying about the middle school. Why put in a middle schooler to take dual enrollment and not like high school credits before?
The law says that they can. This is not a Somerset policy, this is not an IRSC policy, this is a Florida state law. The law says that 6th grade students who have met the requirements, so in 6th grade, if they have earned 4 high school credits, if they have earned a 3.0 GPA from those 4 high school credits, and if they have met the minimum requirement from the PERT exam, they are permitted to. That's not a Somerset thing. That's a state law. Now, there aren't many 6th grade students who've already met that 4 credits. A lot of 7th grade and 8th grade high performing students here have, because as you know, we have, we do mix our classes. We have a lot of middle school students taking high school level classes in order to earn those 4 credits, so they can start dual enrollment sooner. Our goal has always been associates by graduation. Our new goal is bachelor's by graduation. You don't have to pay for that. On that note, Ms. Hernandez did not mention, and I want to make sure it's very clear, that if your student, I don't care what the GPA is, I don't care if the GPA is a 3.8, if your student earns a C on either side of campus, they are subject to be pulled from DE. Those classes go on their transcripts. So if they're wanting to go to a 4-year college, if they're wanting to go to some prestigious school, they don't want C's on their transcripts. So they need to have A's and B's on both sides. When I say both sides, I mean the high school side and the college side. If your student earns a C on either side of campus, I don't care if it is the fall semester of their senior year, it's the only course they need, I will pull them. They may not make less than a B. If they're good enough to be in those classes, they're good enough to maintain those grades. So, okay, middle school aftercare real quick. I know this is like a huge thing. We actually did make a change today. It is not on there, so I'm going to guess I'm going to verbally tell you, and I don't know if that updated on the website yet or not, because the decision was made today. So aftercare is for middle school and middle school only. Once you hit 9th grade, you don't need it. Middle school students, like I said earlier, are swept inside once all the grown-ups come in. I have parents who say, but I'm okay with them waiting outside. Well, I'm not. And it's my liability. And it's my responsibility to keep your students safe. So if I don't have a grown-up outside, middle school students are going to be left outside. Period. Those are our rules. That's all there is to it. So I know it's expensive. $25 per family to register. That takes care of the whole year. And then you can do it in sessions. What we've been doing is 4-week sessions at $185. I have some parents who are like, but I don't need it for the whole 4 weeks, or I don't need it for the whole year, or whatever. We had originally said no drop-in. We're still sticking with no drop-in, but until the bus situation is taken care of, and especially for families who have kids on both campuses, what we are going to do is do a weekly rate. I think that it's like $47 for the week, I believe, so you can do a weekly rate. For those of you who are coming in 90 minutes late, not registered, and it's $1 a minute, that $45 for the week is a lot better than $90 when you're 90 minutes late and $1 a minute, okay? So those decisions were made today. We'll get the website updated as quickly as possible on that. So again, if your student is not registered for aftercare, it is $1 a minute. If the, and what do they do there? So they come in, they get up in the aftercare room, they can do homework or they can go to the tutoring, whatever that day's tutoring is. And then after that, they come back, they have snack, and then they have like decompression and play and hangout time. So they do have homework help, they do get to participate in tutoring, they do get a snack. And that payment pays for the employees who are staying after, as well as pays for the snacks too. If you have questions regarding aftercare, see Ms. Zerger, who's not here tonight. Email Ms. Zerger. Okay, if you want to jot this down real quick, again, it should be on the website, on the calendar, all those other places. But if you want to know progress reports reports went out Friday. So if you didn't get it, you need to ask your students for it, because progress reports are home Friday. I have all these parents and you guys are good, all right. The next progress report goes out on September 14th. September 14th. After that, September 28th, and then October 12th. The final report card for the first 9 weeks goes out on October 19th. For the second 9 weeks, progress report dates are November 2, November 16, and December 7th. And final report cards for the second 9 weeks comes out on January 11th after we come back. And then the third 9 weeks and fourth 9 weeks dates are up there as well. Mr. Weston is not only our Dean of Discipline, he is also our Athletic Director.
We offer sports. Okay, I'll elaborate. Currently, we're in the fall season for sports. We only offer volleyball. The next season is the winter season. We do not offer spring sports at this time. When Ms. Raines dismisses you outside, the coaches for boys basketball, girls basketball, and girls soccer will be present to do an interest sign-up sheet. These are the sports that you can choose from. There is a series of paperwork that goes with the sports. Again, this is on the website. It's in blast. It's going to be going to emails and all of that. Later on, before the winter season starts, there will be a general athletics meeting, and I will get into detail about sports athletics, rules, procedures, and things to that extent. But currently, this is what will be offered for the winter season, not volleyball. That's what's offered now.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Weston. Clubs and organizations. Student Government Association, Steve Butler, National Honor Society, National Science Honor Society, National Junior Honor Society, C. O'Connor, Asian Pop Culture, Anime, C. Carolyn, Drama Club, C. Siski, Science Olympiad, C. O'Connor, Science Fair, C. Perez, Horror Club, I don't even know who's writing that one now, Gay Straight Alliance Club, I think it's Carolyn, but I'm not sure. First Priority, probably Carolyn, but I'm not sure. Psychology Club, Carolyn maybe? He's got that way. Animal Rights and Vegan Club, Carolyn? School Newspaper Club, probably an English teacher. There's a lot more than just this. These are just the ones that are on this slide. Ask your kids or look at the morning announcements. Health information, Peggy, where are you? Health information questions, go for Peggy. Somewhere in here she's got a stack of health stuff. Yes, where? Okay, so she's going to take all that out and set it up at a table out there so that when you are done here, if you need to see her regarding health stuff, you can do that out there. Like shot records and physicals and medication at school, things like that. What? Flu shots. Flu shots. Okay, anything else? No? Okay. That's a little bit. Teachers, go to your classrooms, turn on your lights, unlock your doors, take a deep breath. The stampede will begin momentarily.